Okay, so let's move on. Now we have created one positive test case for our test suite, testing our login feature. What's going to be our next one? Well, actually, I'm going to say for login, there are many test cases. There are a lot, and it's one of the most common features developed. But for our purposes, we're just going to go with a few here. The next feature that we may want to test is a negative scenario, right? Make sure that a invalid username does not let you into the application. So, what are going to be our steps? Well, they're going to be almost exactly the same, right? In fact, everything is going to be the same except a few of these steps. So I'm just going to copy this over. I'm going to paste that here. We're going to open the browser and do this. That's correct. Let me update this. User cannot log in to the application given that they have an invalid username and valid password. This is going to be 2. Now, we're here on this step. Instead of entering a valid username, we're going to enter an invalid username to the field. Okay, and then we're going to enter a valid password. We're going to press the login button, and we're going to validate that the user was not able to log in. So we're probably going to check for some kind of an error message. So what if we develop this for our sprint? And now we add it to the regression suite. And we move on to the next sprint, where we start working on another feature, which is related to the login page. So now we have to develop more test cases. So let's add another 2 test cases. What if now after logging in, actually, the next test case will be, we want to make sure that a user can't log in with an invalid password, right? Valid username, but invalid password. That user should still not be able to get in. So, now we're going to enter a valid username and then invalid password. So, and then they're going to enter an invalid password. This is all 3. Great. Almost the same thing, just invalid password, valid username. And we want to do one more test. That once they log in, that they can click the edit profile button. And then the edit profile button takes them to the appropriate location, which is the edit profile page. So again, it's going to be almost the same thing. Okay, so I saved you guys the boring time and updated the test case here. Just cleaned it up very quickly so that you guys don't have to sit and watch. Open browser, enter valid username, enter valid password, press the login button, validate that user was able to log in, press the edit button, edit profile button, and then validate that they were taken to the edit profile page. And I've separated every test case here by this thick line. I tried to get fancy here. It was pointless. Decided to just make this black thick line. You guys can see separates each test case.